Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, July 18th, and I'd like to tell you a story this morning that I'm going to call The Curious Story of Baby Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth was someone who lived during the time of ancient Israel, and he was the son of Jonathan, who himself was the son of Saul, who was King Saul, king over ancient Israel. And both Jonathan and Saul were killed one day in a battle. And so little Mephibosheth was actually an heir to the throne. But he didn't become king, for another person who was not part of the royal family became king. That man's name was David, someone we know very well in the Bible. And the Mephibosheth's nursemaid at the time feared for little Mephibosheth's life, thinking that King David would want to wipe out any of the heirs to the throne from Saul's family. And so she takes him and she runs away with him. But along the way, she drops him. And his injuries are so bad that he is lame in both feet, we are told. And they go to live in a place called Lodibar, where Mephibosheth grows up and spends his young life. And the fact that he is lame in both feet meant that he probably couldn't work for himself. He probably couldn't provide for his own family. And that must have been quite a blow to him because, not unlike our own time, when a man can't provide for himself or his own family, people might think a little less of him. Even the place he lived in, Lodabar, kind of hints to the fact that he had fallen to a very low place in life. And that's where he expected to stay. But one day, King David asks if there are any members of Saul's family still alive. For you see, David actually loved Saul, actually loved Jonathan, and wanted to know if there's anyone else that he should be taking care of that he doesn't know about. And he's told about Mephibosheth. And so he sends for Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth goes. I guess when the king asks that you come somewhere, you go. And Mephibosheth goes to Jerusalem thinking, well, this is the end of me. David is finally going to wipe me out. But when he gets to Jerusalem, he is shown into the palace of David. When David sees him, he's kind to him, has compassion for him, and gives him a place at his royal table. And if the story ended there, it would be a very nice story about redemption and restoration of your fortunes. But the very last line in Mephibosheth's story, which, by the way, I should tell you, you can read his entire story in the book of 2 Samuel, beginning in chapter 4 and ending in chapter 9. At the very end of Mephibosheth's story, we are told once more that Mephibosheth was lame in both feet. That is the curious part. Why are we told that again? I think one of the reasons is, a lot of times we feel injured in life and are injured in life, hurt in life, sent to live in low places, think that's where we belong. Our self-esteem is crushed and our expectations are lowered. But God is always with us. God is always seeking to not only restore us and redeem us, but to bring us up out of ourselves. And even though Mephibosheth lived in this low place, others did take care of him. Evidently, others did love him. Others cared for him his whole life. And later in his life, even King David, who everyone expected to hate him, loved him. And the lesson there, I think, is that God is always working in our lives, and God is working in other people's lives. And when the spirit of God's compassion and love finds a home in someone's heart, a kind person's heart, everything can change for us. The other lesson, again, is that even though we think that we have been so injured in life that life is going to be a low place, we can be brought back up. And so let me leave you today with take heart, even though you may think there's no heart left in you, and be kind to others.